Shabbat shalom, everyone. I hope you're doing well. This week's parsha is Lech Lecha, and it's the parsha where we're introduced and we really learn more about Avraham, the first Jew. So far in the book of Bereshit, the book of Genesis, where we've just restarted after going through the entire Torah for the whole year, we were back at the beginning. So we had creation, we had Adam and Eve, we had Adam and Eve's children, Cain and Abel, the story of Cain killing Abel. We have the story of Noah and his family, Noah and the flood, as well as the Tower of Babel. And I love what Rabbi Sachs points out. Rabbi Sachs of blessed memory points out about this parsha, about this turn into talking about Abraham and his family. So Adam and Eve are the archetypes of a man and wife. Adam and Cain and Abel are the archetypes of sibling rivalry. The story of the Tower of Babel about society's demise, society not listening to one another, trying to be like God, and society sort of turning into the darkness that was the generation before the flood. That's talks about society in general. So we have archetypes and we have society in general. And then suddenly we take a hard turn 10 generations after the story of Noah into talking about Abraham and his wife Sarah and their son Yitzchak and their whole story. Is it that God doesn't care about humanity anymore? Is it that God was looking at archetypes, was looking at the greater population and was interested in them before? And then when it gets to Abraham, when it gets to starting, when it gets to the first Jew, suddenly God doesn't care so much about the rest of the world. This is not true. What we are shown through Abraham and then through Abraham's descendants are that the purpose of a Jew and the purpose of God's support and care for the world is that the Jew represents and reminds the rest of the world, the rest of the nations about God. And we learn this through the way that other people talk, the way that the Jews talk to other people in the book of Genesis, and the way that other people talk about the Jews. So Rabbi Sachs gives some really great examples. So in the story of Joseph, which we will get to in a few weeks, when Potiphar, his master in Egypt, when Potiphar's wife tries to seduce him, Joseph says, "How could I do such a great wrong? It would be a sin before God." And then when Joseph is about to do his dream explanations for the story within his story, when he interprets the dreams of the butler and the baker, he says to them, interpretations belong to God. And then he gives his interpretation of their dream. When he goes before Pharaoh, he says, God will give Pharaoh the answer he desires, not I will give the answer. And then Pharaoh says about Joseph, can we find anyone like this man, one in whom is the Spirit of God? Jews are not expected to just be Jews and exist in this small little silo of where we exist. That's not what we're about. We're about being an example. We're or Lagoyim, a light unto the nations, the example of how to live with God in your life, with your life, how to be a good example and have morals and have clarity. And that's the purpose of the Jewish people. We're told in the book of Genesis 5 times, the patriarchs, so Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob are told, through you, all the families or all the nations of the earth will be blessed through you. All the nations of the earth will be blessed. And what this reminded me of is in recent years, there's been an addition, I think it's within Reform Sidurim, Reform prayer books, in the part of Osei Shalom at the end of the Amidah. So Osei Shalom, the text is Osei Shalom v'imromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. And in Reform Sidurim, it says instead of just ve'al kol Yisrael, instead of just the full translation is, may the one who makes peace in the high heavens make peace upon us for all of Israel, and we say Amen. But in the Reform prayer books, it says, may the one who makes peace in the high heavens make peace upon us for all of Israel and for all who inhabit the earth. Ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. This added part that may God make peace not just for us, but for the rest of the world as well. And it's a Reform edition. They're, a little more progressive in their interpretations, but I think it's relevant to all sectors of Judaism. Judaism, we don't believe in proselytization. We're not out trying to convert people, but we do believe in being a blessing to others, and through our example, allowing other people to be blessed. Those who bless will be blessed. It's a beautiful point. And yeah, I just love that's the turn we take. That's the purpose of the story of Abraham. That's the story where we have this man and his family and the way that they're able to influence the rest of the world. And that's what we are today. We still are meant to be an example, a reminder that God exists in all of our lives. And that's what we are. We're Lagoyim, we're a light unto the nations. And may you have an easy time remembering that. Shabbat shalom. God willing, I'll see you all next week and have a great weekend.